How's it going, everybody? So I got a couple of new knives I just finished. A couple of different blade styles. This one is basically my Kephart pattern. I've done a couple of knives based on before. Same shape, but decided to go with some fancier handles. Curly birch with a bronze bolster. Originally I was going to do both of them this way. I actually had kind of a disaster with working on this knife with the bronze. This is some kind of weird piece of bronze I've had for a few years, and never got around to using it for anything before. And when I went to use it on these two knives for the bolsters, I found that it is just inexplicably extremely hard. Even after attempting to anneal it by normal methods that you would use to anneal brass or bronze, it's still very, very hard. It might have softened slightly, but it was almost impossible to drill and cut with a bandsaw, and very, very tedious to try to shape and finish that on there. I actually gave up on this knife a couple of times, but did manage to go back and get it shaped. It's actually, the bronze is much harder than the steel of the Tang, and almost as hard as the hardened and tempered edge steel. It's crazy stuff. So I definitely won't be using that again, but this one did come out looking pretty good eventually. The fit and finish on this one honestly is not quite up to my usual standard because it was so difficult to work with. So there's some spots where I just had to kind of call it good enough and use it as it is, but it's it's fine. And this looked pretty nice with that bronze and the dark stained curly birch. My same Kephart blade shape I've done before, as I mentioned, 3/16 of an inch thick, and it's kind of a Scandivex grind. I've never done it like that before, but it just kind of started coming out that way, so I let it happen, and it came out pretty good. I'm sure it'll cut really well as a bushcraft knife, and it's definitely robust. And the sheath is, basically typical. Good snug fit. The other one is a little bit different of a blade shape. Basically the same handle, but this is another little design I was experimenting with. I'm sort of thinking of this as my camp and forest model, something like that. Sort of a kind of a survival knife, kind of a camp knife, bushcraft, hunting, pretty much do it all really. It'd be pretty good for anything. On this one I decided not to do the disastrous bronze bolster. I just went with micarta. It's a natural canvas micarta on most of the handle, and some black linen micarta for the bolster, which looks pretty good. Same grind. This is about a 5-inch blade. The Kephart is like a 4.5-inch blade. And both definitely a couple of pretty tough knives that should cut pretty good also. Same sheath for this one pretty much. So hit me up if you're interested. As always, we'll both save a little bit of money if you email me and I send you an invoice or whatever that way, or you can also check them out on Etsy. It's also fine. Will cost you a little more. I would like to get, I'm going to say $200 for this one, $225 for this one, for the camp and forest, $200 for the Kephart with the bronze and curly birch. So that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching.